is so much there from us to you and from you to us. We feel it and we needed it, and thank you.
Okay, that's a tough act to follow. My name is Bill Fry, and I was a very, very good friend with Larry. And I would like to talk to you a little bit about a side of Larry that maybe some of you don't know. He was an oddball. And let me explain. The Oddballs are a very eclectic group of friends that Larry and I both shared all over the country. And they're very different personalities and different people. And we came together partly through a love of juggling and performing and partying. Okay, partying. And I called most of the oddballs to let them know that Larry had passed away too soon. He was the first oddball we lost. And I just want to remember a couple of people. Brother John, Sister Ann, Lester and Suze, Posty, Pino, Nev, Jules, they all expressed their wish to be here. And I said I would represent them in spirit. As you can tell, and Koosh, when I called Koosh from Washington, D.C., he said, I'll be there. And I'll tell you a little story about Koosh later. And there are actually some other oddballs. Gloria was an oddball. She won a Most Valuable Oddball Award. We were looking it over last night. And Rob Elliott is here and Doug Essing. As you can tell, most of the oddballs had a nickname. And Larry's nickname was Big Lair. And it wasn't just because of his size. It was because of everything that Larry did. Everything Larry did was big, really big. And he was so dependable. Actually, he was really dependable in passing juggling clubs. He was like a rock. But we used to have these events. They were called oddball events. Some of them were juggling conventions. Some of them were festivals. And after each event, I would do an oddball write-up. And I would send it to everybody on my computer. And last night, Koosh and I sat reminiscing over a couple of beers. And at the last minute, some of y'all saw the pictures that I brought of the oddball events. We started reading the oddball write-ups. And I would go through each day and then say something funny that happened. And then we'd give out awards at the end, like the most valuable oddball and the Rip Van Woobie Award, which Rod won one year. And what really shocked me was how many events Larry came to. I couldn't believe it. He was at almost every event. I said, Larry, we're having an oddball event. He said, I'll be there. And he was there helping me do whatever, helping me put on shows, passing juggling clubs with me. I'm going to share a story that, well, first off, I met Larry through juggling, through the Orlando Juggling Club. And one of the things I never really thanked him enough for was my girlfriend of 25 years is in the audience. And she's here mostly because of Larry. She was in the serving, actually a lot of you Marriott people know her, Carol Studer. She was in the business and Larry said, come on down here, I can find you all kinds of work. And she had so much more work here than in Ohio that she finally moved. And then I moved here and we've been together for 25 years. So yeah, thanks Larry, huh? You helped. I'm gonna tell you all a story that even my girlfriend of 25 years has never heard. Larry calls me up one day and he says, hey, you want to go to Dallas with me? Well, we're going to be the Aramis Jugglers. And I went, you mean like in the Three Musketeers? And he goes, no, like in the Perfume. And I go, what the hell are you talking about? He goes, I got us a gig at Neiman Marcus. I go, sure, Larry, I'm there. So he and I go to Neiman Marcus, and we're walking around doing roving juggling and passing out perfume samples. And I'm like, God, this is so Larry. Now, here's the good part of this story. We finish, right? And now I go, Larry, the Dallas Mavericks basketball team is in town. You want to go? I've never been. He goes, yeah. So we find this Mexican restaurant. And the center where the Mavericks play, we can actually see it from our seats at the restaurant. The waiter comes by and says, hey, it's happy hour. We're having a special on pitchers of margarita. It seemed like a good idea at the time. I don't know what they put in the margarita, but here's how bad it was. We paid the bill, and our waiter says, are you going to the Mavs game? And we go, yeah, we're gonna walk across the parking lot. He goes, no, I'm gonna drive you. We didn't have a drink at the Mavs game until well after the first half of the game. And the funny part was, I worked the college market as a professional juggler for almost 30 years. And when Carol became my agent, we had a school called Longwood University in Virginia, and they stiffed me on a contract. And the very first player for the Portland Blazers, they announced, was center from Longwood College. And Larry and I both jumped up and went, "Boo, you suck, get off the court, we hate Longwood." And everybody went. And I don't think Carol's even ever heard that story. So what else can I say about Larry? Oh gosh, where do you go? He was Big Larry. He was always there, and I'm gonna miss him so terribly. And I have a tribute. It's a little bit odd, but like I say, we're oddballs. So I'd like to invite two oddballs to come up on stage. That's Mr. Elliott and Mr. Kushla. And we're gonna do a little silent juggling tribute to Larry. Just about a 10-second little bit of juggling, because it was such a big part of his life and such a part of my friendship. And leave the clubs, I'll get them for you. And I gotta warn you that, come on up guys. Mr. Elliott, Mr. Kushla. I'm gonna warn you that all of us have not really been in juggling in about 7 or 8 years, so this could be pretty ugly. But if we do have a couple of drops in this brief 10 seconds, that's also a tribute to Big Larry. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, this is gonna be scary, boys. All right, I'm gonna add one more thing here. Rob is gonna be juggling with 3 of Larry's props that were brought here today. Koosh is gonna be juggling with 3 of Larry's props. And because Larry and I spent so much time performing together, juggling together, passing clubs, doing shows, juggling for fun at parties, I'm gonna juggle with my 3 clubs that I used to pass with Larry.
Should the first row move back a bit?
All right, let's do it. 10 seconds, that's all. Ready? Good enough. Thanks, Larry.
God bless you, Larry.
Give me just a sec. First, thank you for everybody that came up here. Chris, Larry thought of him as a father. We bought our first house from Chris. Julie will always be my sister. And of course, Anthony's aunt and Bill. Always been there for Larry. And we appreciate him. I will get through this. On behalf of Anthony, I had to write it down because if I didn't, I'd never make it through. On behalf of Anthony, myself, and the family, I would like to thank all of you for being here today. Today we celebrate the life of a wonderful man, while at the same time, our hearts break over the loss. In May 1994, I woke Larry up at 4 a.m. to let him know my water was breaking. I calmly told him that I was going to take a shower and he can just stay in bed until I got ready, because I won't go to the hospital without any makeup. When I came out of the bathroom, I expected Larry to be laying in bed. He was sitting on the edge of the bed, gripping the waterbed, white as a sheet, with this look of sheer panic on his face. Those of you who knew him knew that he did not frazzle very easily. On that day, our son Anthony was born. Larry did not have a father to give him lessons on how to be a dad, but he did his best to change diapers and feed him. And as he grew, he gave him the best he knew how to give to his only son. Theirs was a relationship of simplicity, like watching a movie together or having lunch at whatever new place Larry picked out, which was every place in Orlando. Although not with the same sense of adventure his father had, Anthony enjoyed taking trips with him and doing whatever interesting thing that day would bring, like tubing in Belize on the cruise, or looking for gold nuggets in North Carolina. People ask me, why do you do this for your ex-husband? Anyone who knew us, knew our relationship, knew that I would be heartbroken not to do this. He was my partner first, then my friend, then my family last and foremost. When Anthony was 2 or 3, everyone said that he looked just like me, my side of the family, but not anymore. If you want to see what Larry looked like as a teenager, just look at his son. Watch Anthony walk and you will see Larry. Watch the way he smiles in pictures and you will see his dad. In this aspect, I am luckier the most, for I will get to continue seeing Larry every day, and I will have a piece of him always. Being 19 years old and losing your father is heartbreaking. Anthony will miss his dad, the times they spent together. The outings, going to eat, going to the movies, or simply just being with each other are gone. Only memories make life easier. Anthony will need your help, all of you, to keep his father's memory alive. He wants you to send stories, write them down, send them by email or by Facebook, and tell them to each other. There will come a time when he will not be able to remember his father's laughter anymore, or the lines of his face, but he will remember your stories. So, thank you. Thank you all for coming again and sharing such a beautiful life lived, even if it was for such a short time. Simply put, Anthony would like to thank every one of you for loving his dad.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michelle, and I was a very good friend of Larry's. I'd just like to read a short thing for everybody. You kept track of every toss and turn through the sleepless nights, each tear entered in your ledger, each ache written in your book. This is from Psalms 56:8. Thank you very much.
Tough act to follow. That concludes this portion of the celebration for Larry. Everybody step next door, have beer, wine, and hors d'oeuvres over there. You can reminisce about Larry over there. And Jeff Howell will be performing. Thank you very much for coming.